Have you ever wondered why native English speakers sound so natural and fluent even in the simplest conversations? The secret isn't complicated grammar or fancy vocabulary, it's the everyday phrases they use without thinking. In today's lesson, you're about to discover 50 of the most common English expressions that can instantly make your speaking sound more natural and confident. The surprising part? You've probably heard many of them before, but didn't know how to use them correctly. This is your chance to unlock real conversational English. Ready to find out what they are? Let's begin this exciting journey together. Understanding the power of common English phrases. Now that you're ready to begin this journey, let's start with something both simple and powerful: the way native speakers greet each other. Greeting phrases might seem basic, but they play a key role in sounding natural and making conversations flow smoothly. Instead of always saying hello or hi, native speakers often use casual and friendly expressions that help break the ice more naturally. For example, phrases like, "Hey, how's it going?" or "What's up?" are commonly used in everyday life. They immediately make the conversation feel more relaxed and personal. Imagine you walk into a store and see a friend. Instead of just saying hi, you say, "Hey, how's it going?" And they might respond, "Not bad, just picking up a few things." This exchange sounds much more natural and friendly than a formal greeting. These small changes make a big difference. That's the beauty of learning real phrases. Your English doesn't just improve, it becomes alive. Another useful greeting is "long time no see," which you can use when meeting someone after a long time apart. Let's say you run into an old classmate. You can say, "Hey, long time no see, how have you been?" And they might respond, "It's been a while, I've been busy with work." You've now opened the door to a meaningful and fluent conversation just by using one natural phrase. Going further, there are other ways to ask someone how they are beyond the common "How are you?" You can say, "How's everything?" or "How are things?" These expressions are friendly, open-ended, and invite the other person to share more. You could ask, "How's everything going with your new job?" or "How are things with your family?" By using these questions, you're not just practicing English, you're building real connections. And don't forget the importance of practicing. Try this. Think of someone you haven't seen in a while. Now, say out loud, "Hey, long time no see, how's everything going?" Then imagine their response. This kind of out-loud practice builds both confidence and fluency. It helps your brain get used to forming these expressions naturally, just like a native speaker would. Learning greetings and friendly openers is the first step in mastering conversational English. It sets the tone for everything that follows. And the best part? These phrases are easy to use and can be practiced anywhere, anytime, even when you're speaking to yourself. So the next time you start a conversation in English, don't just say hi. Try, "Hey, what's up?" or "How's it going?" You'll be surprised how much more confident and fluent you sound. Agreeing and reacting naturally in conversations. Now that you've learned how to start a conversation naturally, the next step is knowing how to keep it going, and that often means reacting in the right way. In real English conversations, native speakers don't just nod or say yes. They use short, expressive phrases that show agreement, surprise, or emotion. These responses make a conversation feel alive and authentic. Let's start with agreement. Imagine someone says, "Learning English takes time." A native speaker wouldn't simply reply, "Yes." Instead, they might say, "Exactly," or "That's so true." These phrases show you're actively listening and that you share the same opinion. They also make your speech sound more fluent. Try it yourself. Someone says, "It's important to practice every day." You respond, "Totally, that's how progress happens." These small phrases carry a lot of weight in making you sound natural. Now think about reacting to opinions or small talk. If your friend says, "It's been really hot lately," instead of replying with a plain yes, say, "That's so true, I've had the fan on non-stop." Suddenly your English feels real, just like a native speaker's. Try this with a simple sentence. "I think weekends are too short." Now respond, "Totally, they just fly by." With practice, this becomes automatic. Besides agreeing, showing surprise or interest is another essential part of real conversation. Native speakers use expressions like, "no way" or "you're kidding" when reacting to surprising news. These phrases are energetic and engaging. Imagine a friend tells you, "I met a celebrity at the cafe." You could say, "You're kidding, who was it?" That kind of reply shows genuine interest and keeps the conversation lively. Reactions are powerful tools. If someone says, "I won the lottery," don't just say, "wow." Say, "no way, that's amazing." By choosing expressive phrases, you show that you're truly engaged in the conversation. "This is amazing, Claire." You can turn your sir, "It was while because Jeeters is at safe book." "It was rifer," showing dire system for chorus. Here's another important set of phrases, asking for help or making polite requests. Instead of just saying, "help me," which can sound too direct, try saying, "Can you do me a favor?" or "Would you mind helping me out?" These expressions are soft, friendly, and polite. For example, "Would you mind helping me carry this box?" or "Can you do me a favor and check this email?" These forms are common in both casual and professional situations. And when you want to offer help, try, "Do you need a hand?" or "Let me know if you need anything." If a friend looks overwhelmed, saying, "Do you need a hand with that?" shows kindness and makes your English feel warm and thoughtful. By using these common phrases for agreeing, reacting, and asking or offering help, you'll not only improve your fluency, you'll also connect more deeply with the people you speak with. These are the everyday tools expressing emotions and opinions naturally. After learning how to agree, react, and ask for or offer help naturally, it's time to take your English to the next level by expressing your emotions and opinions in a way that sounds real and fluent. This is a key part of sounding like a native speaker because in everyday conversation, people constantly talk about how they feel and what they think. Let's start with expressing positive emotions. When someone shares good news, don't just say, "good" or "nice." Use phrases like, "That's awesome," "I'm so happy for you," or "That's great news." These expressions sound much more enthusiastic and engaging. For example, if your friend says, "I passed my exam," you could respond, "That's amazing, I knew you could do it." These kinds of responses show your support and help keep the conversation warm and friendly. Now imagine a friend says, "I finally got the job I wanted." Instead of replying with a simple, "Congrats," you can say, "I'm so glad to hear that. You totally deserve it." It's personal, thoughtful, and helps you build deeper connections through your words. On the other hand, when someone shares bad news, it's important to show sympathy and understanding. You can use phrases like, "That's too bad," "I'm sorry to hear that," or "That's really unfortunate." For instance, if a friend says, "My dog is sick," you could say, "I'm so sorry to hear that. I hope it gets better soon." These phrases don't just show you're listening, they show that you care. Even small reactions can make a big difference. If someone says, "I didn't get the promotion," you might say, "That's rough. Keep trying, something better will come along." This kind of support is what makes your English sound human, not robotic. Next, let's talk about expressing your own opinions or emotions. Phrases like, "To be honest," "honestly speaking," or "I feel like" are perfect for sharing how you really think. For example, "To be honest, I didn't love that movie," or "Honestly speaking, it was a bit boring." These expressions make your opinions sound genuine but still polite. You can also use phrases like, "I know what you mean," or "I get it," to show empathy and understanding. If a friend says, "I've been really stressed at work," you could say, "Yeah, I get it. It's been a crazy week for me too." These short responses go a long way in making your conversations feel natural and emotionally intelligent. Here's a quick practice. Think of something that made you happy recently. Say, "I'm so glad that happened. It really made my day." Then, think of a time when something didn't go well, and say, "That was really disappointing, but I learned a lot." Expressing how you feel and what you think helps people connect with you, and it helps your English become more expressive, real, and powerful. Keep practicing these emotional and opinion-based phrases, and you'll soon speak not only with words, but with feeling, asking for clarification, confirming, and changing topics smoothly. After learning how to express your feelings and opinions with confidence, the next step in mastering natural English conversation is knowing how to ask for clarification, confirm what you've heard, and change the topic smoothly. These may seem like small details, but they're what make your conversations feel effortless and real, just like native speakers. Let's begin with asking for clarification. Sometimes you might not understand what someone said. Instead of staying silent or saying, "What?" in a way that feels abrupt, you can politely ask, "Sorry, could you say that again?" or "What do you mean by that?" These are soft, respectful ways to keep the conversation going. For example, if someone speaks too quickly, you can say, "I'm sorry, I didn't catch that. Could you repeat it more slowly?" Practicing this makes you feel more confident when you don't fully understand something. Another useful phrase is, "I'm not sure I get that. Can you explain it in a different way?" This shows that you're engaged and willing to learn, which is especially helpful in professional or classroom settings. Don't be afraid to ask questions. Curiosity leads to growth. Next, let's talk about confirming information, something native speakers do all the time using simple question tags. These are short questions added at the end of a statement, like, "Right? Isn't it?" or "Don't you think?" For example, "You're coming to the meeting, right?" or "It's a beautiful day, isn't it?" These small additions make your English sound more interactive and allow the listener to engage easily. Try saying, "You've seen that movie, haven't you?" It feels more like a conversation and less like a quiz. You can also confirm by restating what you heard. So, you're saying the meeting is at 3 p.m.? Or, "Just to make sure, we're meeting at the cafe, right?" These phrases help avoid confusion and show that you're actively listening. Now, what happens when you want to change the topic? Jumping from one subject to another without warning can feel awkward. That's why native speakers use smooth transitions like, "By the way," "Speaking of," or "That reminds me." For example, you're talking about weekend plans and want to ask about someone's family. You can say, "By the way, how's your brother doing?" Or, if someone mentions a movie, you can say, "Speaking of movies, have you seen the new Marvel film?" These phrases act like gentle bridges between topics, keeping the flow of conversation natural. Let's practice. Imagine you're chatting with a friend about work. Then you want to ask if they've seen your latest Instagram post. You say, "Anyway, that reminds me, did you see the photo I posted yesterday?" It's a simple, smooth way to switch subjects without sounding random. Mastering these tools, clarifying, confirming, and transitioning, gives you full control of your ending conversations politely and practicing for fluency. Once you've learned how to start a conversation, respond naturally, express emotions, and shift topics smoothly, there's one final skill that ties it all together: ending a conversation politely and practicing regularly to build fluency. How you close a conversation is just as important as how you begin it. A good ending leaves a positive impression and makes the conversation feel complete and natural. Instead of simply saying goodbye, native speakers often use friendly and casual phrases like "talk to you soon," "catch you later," or "take care." These expressions sound warm, relaxed, and genuine. For example, after chatting with a friend, you might say, "It was great talking to you. Talk to you soon." Or, "Let's catch up again later. Take care." These phrases give the other person a sense that you enjoyed the conversation and would like to continue it another time. Let's imagine this in action. You've just finished a friendly talk with someone. Instead of ending it abruptly with "bye," you say, "I've got to run, but let's talk again soon, okay?" Your tone sounds natural, kind, and open, just like a native speaker. But learning phrases alone isn't enough. To truly speak English fluently, you need to practice them often and consistently. That means not only reading or listening to them, but also saying them out loud, preferably in different situations. The more you practice, the more these phrases become part of your natural speech. Try using short daily speaking exercises. For example, set a timer for 5 minutes and speak out loud using 10 different phrases you've learned, from greetings to requests to polite goodbyes. Even if you're alone, speaking out loud helps your brain and mouth work together to form fluent English naturally. You can also imagine real-life conversations and act them out. Picture this. You meet a friend at a cafe. You greet them with, "Hey, how's it going?" Then you ask, "How's work been lately?" You respond with, "I get that. It's been a stressful week for me too." And finally, after chatting a while, you say, "I've got to head out, but let's talk again soon. Take care." This kind of role play, even done alone, is one of the most powerful ways to build confidence. Fluency isn't just about knowing a lot of words or mastering grammar, it's about being able to communicate smoothly, naturally, and respectfully in any situation, from casual chats to emotional conversations to professional discussions. The common phrases you've learned throughout this lesson are the building blocks for real-world communication. So remember, greet warmly, respond with interest, express your thoughts clearly, ask and answer naturally, change topics with ease, and close conversations kindly. Then, practice every single day, even for just a few minutes. Over time, these phrases will become second nature, and that's when real fluency begins.